up, you guys? It's Bricks here, and I am incredibly busy at the moment creating the instructions for my Millennium Falcon and working on my next mid-sized project, which I'll be announcing to you guys soon, as well as trying to finish up on the redesign of the Serenity model that I've been working on for a while now. That's all kind of happening at once, and but I wanted to make sure that no matter what, I don't let the content lapse for you guys on the channel. So I decided to take a break and shoot this video today, showing you guys my Droideka. And that's probably the largest addition that I have so far to my Droid family in terms of sheer bulk. Although I think it probably has less pieces than my L3 model, which I'll be showing you guys next. Yeah, but this is something that I was really excited when I first started making droids to think about the possibility of having in my collection. And I think I've done a good job of creating something that is very screen accurate, although it is a little bit difficult to handle. So apologies if throughout the video I'm kind of dropping the thing and doing a bunch of craziness to keep it on its feet, because it relies on a lot of ball joints to get the exact kind of shapes that you see for all the different moving parts. So it's a little bit unwieldy to handle. But yeah, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try to show you guys all the different features and screen accurate little things that I've created for this. And so yeah, without further ado, let's dive right in and take a look at my latest mid-sized droid. All right, so I'll start by giving you guys a little bit of an overview of the thing. You can kind of see that the whole overall shape is very similar to what was presented on screen. I was trying to go with the Phantom Menace model of the Droideka, because it kind of has been modified over time for appearances in the Clone Wars and other things. But I think this to me is the most kind of pure depiction of it that we saw was in the Phantom Menace, because that was like the kind of debut of the droid. So yeah, you can see that I've replicated the kind of round sort of beetle-like shell that it has, and then the supporting itself on the 3 legs, and then of course it's got these cannons on the side, and the kind of super recognizable 3 eyes right here that the little kind of sensors, and then all of the little armor plates that it has these little shoulder plates and little bits off to the side that are all adjustable. And I've tried my best as well to replicate all the little pistons and details and pipes, even go into the inclusion of wires and things of that sort, to really try to capture exactly what was on screen for this droid, because it's one of the coolest ones that we've seen probably from the prequels. And the fact that it can roll up into a ball and launch itself into battle is pretty great. So yeah, really wanted to do this one justice, and I'm very happy with how it has turned out. So let's see, what are some of the specific kind of interesting details to call out on this thing? Well, the entire shell is articulated, and I'm using a combination of ratcheting joints and regular clip and bar joints for each of the segments. And what that does is the ratcheting joints kind of give it the tension to stay sort of rigidly in one position. But then if I used 2 ratcheting joints for each one, then it would become very stiff, and I wanted to have a little bit of flex in case I wanted to adjust the shape of the shell ever so slightly. But just down here in this bottom section, it has a really specific shape to it where it has these little individual segments, and then I switched to just using sideways built construction with these little hinge plates. So this bottom portion is just kind of free floating. You can pose these any old way, and I actually like to try to give it just a little bit of an extra tuck on these side segments, because it has a little bit of that in the design where it kind of narrows and also kind of goes in like that. But yeah, the whole kind of structure in here, you can see all these little pistons and kind of functional looking parts that would maneuver all the different limbs are represented as much as possible. The arms are on ball joints, and then the actual, so I guess the clavicle is on a ball joint, and then the shoulder here relies on these pneumatic T-bars, so it can be rotated left to right. And then this whole kind of assembly down here for the elbow has this really complicated arrangement of droid arms, and then these modified kind of bar holder pieces, and so that just allows for a really nice kind of collapsing action to that, and then the actual kind of cannon forearm is just on a regular double clip and bar. So that all holds together pretty well, and it has a pretty decent range of motion, which you do need when the thing goes into bowl kind of rolly attack mode. That's something that comes in handy a lot. And then these little parts down here are on ball joints, so they can be kind of independently posed as well, which is fairly accurate to the thing as well. I think that these do actually fold up in as part of the design on the real thing as well. So yeah, how about we go take a look at how this thing looks when it's tucked up into bowl mode, and then I'll kind of bring it back apart and show you guys a little bit more of the details. All right, so I'm going to transform this for you guys. So we're going to tuck the arms up, just collapsing this whole kind of section. And then I'm going to tuck in the gun as much as possible. And then I'm just going to push these arms back on that bowl joint. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Just tuck this up, like so. Squeeze that back. In there, like so. Then I'm going to take the bottom leg, tuck it in. It goes underneath. Then I'm going to take these side legs and push them up, like that. And then the whole kind of center section of the spine here can tuck underneath. And then we can bring the head segment down, tuck in his little antenna, so that those are in there. And then once again, just click this whole section forward. And we can just kind of tuck in this bottom section of the armor plating. Like I said, this thing is unruly. And then just kind of push these little armor plates out of the way as much as possible. And essentially, there we go. Essentially, he's ready to go in bowl mode. I don't really like to, let me just tuck this in a little bit more. I don't really like to roll this as such, because it, it can sustain damage that way. But this is about as close as I can get it. And it actually is fairly accurate to what you see on screen. When they're rolling around, they tend to they get to this point, like so, and then they deploy the back leg out, and then they spring forward onto their front legs, and that's just what kind of pushes the whole thing back up. And then everything on the top unfolds like that. And then, oops, one of his arms has come a little bit detached. Let me just reattach that. And then, yeah, it just sort of propels itself back up into normal shape, as it were. And then because the spine is all stiff, ratcheted joints, that takes a little bit of figuring out to get that back into place. But then once you've reposed it, it holds its shape pretty well. So that's one of the things I like about it. So, back into kind of normal operating mode there. Get the arms back up, face those guns forward. And there you have it. So kind of in and out of bull roly-poly mode. That's a tricky thing to do. But yeah, that's essentially what happens on screen and what happens when you do it to the model. It's not as elegant, of course, on my one. And actually, the old Technic set that Lego did way back in the 2000s, or like 2002 or something like that, this model is actually pretty much the exact same size as that one. And they actually had a really nice, elegant solution for the transformation mechanism, but their model relied on elastic bands or rubber bands. And so over time, those would break, and you could never get your droid back into a standing position, which was a real shame. Like, all the tension that held everything together was in the legs, and you had these rubber bands that just would break, and then your thing would just be on the ground in a heap. There's nothing you could do about it. So at least with this one, it takes a little bit of fiddling around to get it to exactly the right, the way that you want it to look. But once it is posed there, it is good to go. It doesn't rely on anything but its own tension to keep it up. All right, and lastly, I just wanted to give you guys a little kind of closer up look at all of the details and the way in which a lot of these things are put together. You can kind of get a closer look at some of that. This section in here was incredibly difficult to figure out with how many times it changes direction, and also figuring out the spacing to get these two ball joints to be able to accommodate this piston right in here. Yeah, and I had to study a lot of different kind of screen captures of the model to try to get all of this little mechanical detail in here to feel authentic to the real thing. So really, really challenging. And then just, yeah, figuring out all the little connection points for all of these little parts. Yeah, really, really interesting, difficult challenge, but something that was very, very worthwhile and made me feel very satisfied when I was done with it. So yeah, that is something that I love doing. I love just capturing detail and rendering it in Lego form. That's what I enjoy doing in life. The legs rely on a lot of Technic little kind of these half thickness beams, but with the modified bricks kind of squished inside of those, and that gives a really, really strong connection. And then that kind of allows for a good sturdy connection point to the ball joint, which holds the legs up. So yeah, that was something that took a little bit of figuring out. I don't normally integrate Technic into the exterior structure of my models, but I felt like for the kind of mechanical nature of this droid, I thought it looked fine. And the leg actually does have this kind of a similar sort of detail pattern to it. So yeah, I think that worked out all right. And then at the bottom here, there's kind of a, on the real thing, there's kind of a spherical design to the whole bottom of this section. And so figuring out how to be able to integrate the ball joints in here at the specific angles that I need and have them be kind of tucked into this kind of, you know, semicircle or semi-spherical design here was really tricky to figure out as well. Yeah, this is probably one that I don't think would really benefit from instructions, because I personally know how to handle this model and handle all the different weird little idiosyncrasies that go along with something that is so complex. But I wouldn't feel happy giving that out to other people and expecting them to try to figure that out for themselves. Unless, of course, that's something that you guys absolutely demand and call for in the comment section. And if that is something that you really want, then, you know, let me know, and maybe I'll rethink that. But as of the time being, I think this will just be one that I show to you guys and will sit on my shelf. So yeah, that's about all that there is to really see for the Droideka. A really, really cool Star Wars creation, and something I'm very, very happy to have in my collection. Okay guys, so that is the whole collection so far. I really want to hear from you guys. If there are droids that you have requests for that you'd like to see represented as part of this family at this scale, that would be really cool. I'd love to hear from you guys, so do let me know. I have about 10 or so that are on my list. I have you know, 2 or 3 others that are already created, so I'll be showing you guys those fairly soon. But yeah, I love to hear you guys' input. You know, did you just absolutely love IG-11 on The Mandalorian? Leave it down in the comments. You know, are you a big K2SO guy? Let me know. I'm really excited to hear what you guys are most interested to see. So yeah, I'm going to be working really hard to get those Millennium Falcon instructions out to you guys ASAP, as well as the Serenity video updates. I really appreciate for all of you guys who are waiting. I know, I hear you, and I definitely want to get those out ASAP. So I'm going to get to work on all of that stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. It really means a lot to me. The support that you guys give me is incredible. Continue to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. That really has been wonderful to see. And yeah, I'll just see you guys on the next video. So may the Force be with you. And again, sincerely, thank you.